G'day, Tragic here, and welcome to Deathgate. So, this is the first playthrough I've done on my channel for a long time, so let's see if I remember how to do it, yeah? Now, not Deathgate, Death Angel. So, Death Angel is a little miniature card game set in the Space Marine universe. It's a sort of card game version of Space Hulk. So it has a couple of things the same. Now, there's a couple of things we need to talk about before we get into it. One, this game is famous for having a bad die. So roll 4, roll 2, let's roll 3. So it's actually rolling pretty well. Maybe my one isn't busted. But I've had bad experience with this dice, just never rolling skulls. Because I think the depression with the skulls is it's weighted weird. It just doesn't seem to work as a good die. So instead, I'm going to be using a nicely weighted Chessex die to do my rolling. So the way the die works out is that it starts on 0 and the highest is 5. So 1 is 0 and 6 is 5. So 2, 3, and 4 are skulls, okay? So it's 2, 3, 4 is what we were trying to roll. Now, it's just because, like I said, this is a die that I just have a lot of bad experience with. So it always seems to roll non-skulls, and I'm convinced that it's actually badly weighted. I just rolled a bunch of skulls then, but I'm still going to use this die. So that's that. Now, this game is a single player game, or you can play it co-op, but it's got basically, I've got 2 variants, okay? So there's the original Gene Stealer variant, and then there's the harder Tyranids version. So these are the Gene Stealer cards you can see, okay? And the way it works is that you just basically draw them out, but you also have these little movement symbols here, which you'll see in action as the game progresses. There is also, it's a Hive Tyrant, and these are the boss cards, the 4 boss cards. And I should have somewhere in here. Right, yeah, so see these ones, how they've got a red back, and these ones have a kind of green back. So the red back is from the Tyranid expansion, which has much more deadly enemies. So we are not going to be using this one for this initial playthrough, but I often play just have them all mixed up. Just makes it a lot easier to use. I'm going to play with that. Now this mat you're seeing is the mat for, I can't remember what game it's for. Ancient Terrible Woods or something, like some kind of woods game that I don't really play very often. These are all the Space Marines. Now each Space Marine, there's 2 in each squad. I'm going to randomly select my Marines and I'm going to play a solo game. So I have the Space Marine pack, as well as the Death Wing pack, and of course the Tyranid packs. So these are the Marines. I'm just getting them out of the way. Okay, excellent. Here's the location decks. And these red ones are the location decks for the Tyranid expansion that we're not going to be using, okay? And then you've got these blue location decks here that we're not going to be using either. That's for the Hive Lords. If people like this playthrough, I will play some more using the more advanced cards. So this is the way the game works. Basically, you have these, I'm not quite sure how well my zoom is going to work, but we're going to basically play it like this. So this is the void lock. This is us starting the game in this location, okay? So remember, this is based off Space Hulk. So in Space Hulk, the board game, which uses 40k miniatures, but it's basically a board game. You start in the airlock and you kind of work your way into the ship to achieve your objectives and work back. And that's the structure that this has. So the way this works is this void lock is the beginning of the game. This is when we enter the ship. And now we have to populate the corridor that we're walking down, because just like in the board game is very focused on facing and tactical order of your Marines, because you're in these tight, confined spaces, and the card game mimics that. So over here you have these values. This says place a location card 3 from the bottom, and this one's 2 from the bottom, this one's 1 from the bottom, and this one's 1 from the top, and this is 3 from the top. Then you have these 2 values that tell you how many blip piles you have. That's how many of these cards are placed in the little piles. And then the final information on this is the spawn points. So basically you've got 2 types of spawns. You've got a major spawn and a minor spawn, and the event cards that you draw will tell you which ones to do. So this event card here, so it's got the 2 white triangles. That means that there's 2 minor spawns at the locations. And that's basically all the information we have for this. So let's put this up here. And for now, I will not be using these cards unless they're called upon by the locations, which they will be eventually. So the void lock here says, we are going to be using decks 2, 3, and 4. So we just stick this up here. This is 1C, we're not using that. 2, we're using 3, and we're going to be using 4. So we just get rid of all the other ones. There's another 4, there's another 4, there's another 3, there's another 3, and there's another 2, and there's another 2. So we randomly take one of each of those and we put it in order. So let's take that one, and finally we'll take that one. This creates our location deck. Okay, so I'll stick this up here, and now we've got to shuffle our event deck. Okay, now it's a little hard for me to reach, so I'm actually going to put the event deck over here where it's a little bit easier for me to reach. And now I'm going to shuffle the blip piles, and the card up here says 6 on each side. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'll just put this up here as well. Now we're going to select our Marines. Now, technically, you're supposed to do a swap from one Marine squad to the other, but I like to play with all of them just mixed in, and then I just play with whatever ones I get. So we are playing with 3 Marines. So that's a total of 3 squads. That's a total of 6 Marines. So let's just do that. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we get 2 librarians. I don't want to play with 2 librarians, so I'm just going to flip that over. I'm going to roll a die. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so we're going to keep that one. And let's draw another. Bam. Okay. Maybe that's the librarian. And now we just need to find the associated Marines. So we're looking for, there is the librarian's troop. There is the purple guys. And there is the tech Marine. So these cards here are the individual Marines, okay, in the squad. Now there's no real information on these, nothing major. Basically, the only information is that they've got the up arrow for flanking, and they've got range, the range. That's it. Nothing else really matters. So they don't really matter what they are physically. What we do though, is that we take the 6 Marines and we shuffle them up. Now I'm going to shuffle them under the table so I don't see, because it's important that I don't know what order they're going to be in. Or just look away while you shuffle. I'll just look away while I'm shuffling. Okay, then we just draw them out into order, into our line. These cards are no longer used. These cards are just for randomly selecting the Marines. And then we go 1, 2, 3. Oh, bang. Just bang my 1, 2, 3. Now, there is actually one really important thing on these cards. So see this big arrow on the side? This is the facing. Now, when you set up the initial setup, the top half are facing to the left and the bottom half are facing to the right. And that is basically how you set up the entire thing. So this guy here, for example, good old brother Boris, he has a range attack of 3. That means that he can shoot 1, 2, 3. 0 is engaged with him. So he's a great guy to have in the middle of my formation because he can basically shoot up or down 3. Most people have range attack 2. In fact, every other person except this guy has range attack 2. So now we're going to follow the setup on our Void Lock card, which says place the doorway. Remember, we're trying to open the door to the Void Lock to get in the ship at number 1 from the top, and place the dark corner 3 from the top. That is 1, 2, 3. From the bottom up, we place the corridor 2 from the top, and we place the ventilation shaft 3 from the top. 1, 2, 3. So that's there. The rest of the locations are put away for now. Right, so that is basically how the game is set up. Each person, oh well, we'll do one more thing. We'll draw the first event card straight away, ignore the text, and you just read it. So unfortunately, this is a bad one. It's a double major spawn at the red and the orange location. So that is the orange location, and that is the red location, and it's 2 from each one. So that is 1, 2, and this one is 1, 2. Ooh. Now what I'm going to do is after I get this set up, I'm just going to go to the video and edit it and see how well it holds together. And then I'm going to use that to sort of figure out how I'm going to, I might readjust the setup. So the way this game works is that we each have 1 card. Now when you're playing with other people, you select your cards in secret and these numbers here determine the order. But because I'm playing solo, I get a bit of an advantage. I can actually choose my cards to work better in tandem. So each card that you choose is then unavailable for the next turn. And there's 3 types. There's an attack type, which allows you to kill things. There's a support type, which allows you to place tokens on things, as well as do other stuff. And there's the move and activate one, which allows you to move up and down inside the corridor. You know, the formation, let's call it. It also allows you to activate objects like the door here, which we're trying to open to get in. Now what's interesting about this game is that once you use an ability, you can't use it again until the next turn. So what I might do, now that I've basically got it set up, let's see if I can get this into a nicer look. I might play this standing up, be a bit easier for me. So these are our actions. These abilities are super powerful. In fact, they're the whole crux of the game, is how to use these abilities. The way I'm going to do this is that when I use an ability, I'm going to put this on one of these tokens on it, and then I'll know that I'm not to use it for the next turn. So now that it's started, it's basically our turn to play. And I'm not going to go through all the rules. I'm going to go through the rules as I play. And if people like the game, I'll do a rules video at the end. Right, so I think that's the setup I'm going to use. It's a little bit easier for me. First thing we need, we have 2 monsters here, and we've got 2 monsters here, and they've all got different tokens. One of the things that's important to note in this game is that it's single roll deaths. That means that if I roll badly, I'm basically dead. No second chances, unless you've got a support token, which we'll get to later. But this card here, right, there's 2 Gene Stealers. When they attack, this guy needs to roll a 3 or better, or he's dead, completely dead. No way to save him. And when we attack them, we only take 1 card out at a time unless there's a special ability that says otherwise. So the first thing I'm going to do is just read through these abilities. Okay, Deathwing Assault. This is an attack ability. Instead of attacking, each of your Space Marines may choose one. That's each of your Space Marines in your squad, so the purple squad. Each of your Space Marines may choose 1 adjacent or engaged swarm, ignoring facing, and roll a die. If the number rolled is equal to or higher than the number of Gene Stealers in the swarm, slay all Gene Stealers in the swarm. So that is a fantastic, fantastic way of getting rid of small swarms. What else we got for them? This is a support one. Each time Interrogator Chaplain Uriel spends or discards a support token this round for any reason, you may place 1 support token on any other Space Marine. Well, that is a fantastic ability. That one there is either of our Marines, but this one, the support one, actually names a Marine. So it is actually only active for Uriel, which is this guy here with the skull mask, not this guy. So if he dies, that card sort of becomes half useless. Okay, so this is Stubborn Devotion. After you resolve this card's action, you may choose a Space Marine. Move any number of support tokens from the chosen Space Marine to the other Space Marine. So that's a very powerful ability as well. And remember, you also get the base ability. The attack ability attacks, the support ability allows you to place a token on any Marine, and the move and activate allows you to move in the formation and change spacing and activate a location's ability. Okay, let's check out the Tech Marines. For the attack action, we have Secrets of the Brethren. Instead of attacking, Brother Ralphin may spend any number of support tokens to slay an equal number of Gene Stealers within range and facing. So that's really powerful. That actually combos really well with our interrogation ability to just place as many tokens as we want on a single guy. Gun Servitor. This is a support. After resolving this card's action, you may choose a Space Marine with at least one support token and roll a die. On a skull, slay one Gene Stealer engaged with the chosen Space Marine, ignore facing. So engagement is range of 0. This guy is engaged with that one. This one is engaged with that one. Everyone else is not engaged. Finally, we have the Servo Arm. Instead of activating a terrain card in front of Brother Heptus, you may activate a terrain card within one range of him, ignoring facing. That's also very good. And finally, let's have a look at this guy's cards. Starting with attack, Hellfire. Instead of attacking with Librarian Malenius, you may roll a die and slay a number of Gene Stealers from anywhere in the formation equal to the number rolled. On a 0, the Librarian must spend a support token or he is slain. Very strong, but very bad. So basically, we just have to make sure that he has a support token on him at some point before he uses this. Forced Barrier. Before an engaged swarm attacks Librarian Malenius, he may spend a support token to make the attack automatically miss. And that's also good. Both of those cards only trigger on Malenius down here. So if he dies, that's bad. Move and activate. After resolving this card's action, choose one swarm within the range and facing of Librarian Malenius. Any Space Marine attacking this swarm may re-roll the die once per attack without spending a support token. Wow, that is... wow. Keep this guy alive at all costs. So every single one of those cards only work for Malenius. So that is basically the game. Now we just have to play it.
Okay, so rewind it. Right. You know what? It's been a while since I've made a video, and I tell you what, I've forgotten a lot of my tips and tricks to make it a bit smoother. Because, yeah, I was editing that rules thing and the setup, and that was a mess. And I remembered by the time I'd finished editing it, I remembered in the old days what I'd do is I'd just set it up and then put the whole thing on speed and do a little voiceover. So that video was a bit of a mess. So what I decided to do, I'm just gonna stop it there, and I'm gonna do I did 2 rounds in this video, but I'm just gonna stop it there and redo from the beginning. I'll shuffle all the decks again. You won't know the difference with the value of editing, but that's it. That's the setup, and I'll see you guys next time.